Sowing the seeds for the afterlife of our borrowed atoms. You don't have to believe in a God and much less be religious to be spiritual. However, I'm not one of those people who claim to be spiritual but not religious. I think spirituality for the most part is bullshit, but what I'm about to get into is as spiritual as I'll ever get. According to the first law of thermodynamics, and don't worry, I know that sounds like science, but this will be worth listening to, matter and energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just transfers from one form to another, usually through heat. That means every single atom that makes up our bodies, such as hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, and other trace elements, not a single one of them are destroyed after we die. Even if you have yourself cremated twice, and then you have your ashes put through a wood chipper for good measure, all you'd be doing is further grinding everything that was your body into finer and finer ashes. So in a sense, every single one of us are made up of atoms that made up other forms of life at some point. It can be argued that all of us are really just organisms made up of borrowed atoms. But the point I'm really trying to make is, even though I won't be around anymore after I die, my atoms will, and life will go on. So whenever I hear people say that this life can't be all there is, they're actually correct. The problem is, your life is not all there is, but life does very much go on after you die. And in a sense, you go with it in the form of the borrowed atoms that made up your body. I get it. It's not a very satisfying answer to many people, especially a lot of people who wish for a heaven like I used to. But that seems to be the reality. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below, but what I'm describing seems to be the very fabric of all reality and life itself, which is why it's in everyone's interest to make life on this planet as best as we can, because in a sense, we're all coming back to it. And I'm willing to bet our atoms don't travel very far from this planet. Much like the total amount of water on the planet is supposedly the same now as it was from the beginning of Earth, it's probably the same for our bodies, especially when you come to think that about 75% of our bodies are made of water. This is why I try, in my own small way, to sow the seeds for the afterlife of my borrowed atoms so they will have a better future. Very much like people who want to leave a better world for their children and grandchildren, even if they don't come around to visit them as often as they like. This is also why it's not simply a matter of spreading love and kindness, but also knowing that sometimes you have to kill and even cull a herd of psychopath dictators and their minions. What is going on now in Ukraine, thanks to Putin and his inner circle of neurologically defunct henchmen, is inexcusable and unforgivable. And that's that I'm trying to be as understanding as possible to the plight of monsters like Putin, who are ultimately a product of their environment and genetic makeup that they most certainly didn't decide at birth. I'm even willing to understand that to a large degree, Putin isn't even completely acting out of pure free will. He's a product of a society that evolved from centuries of brutal dictatorships and crushing oppression and poverty. But tolerance has its limits, and forgiveness can be overrated. Bottom line, the very atoms that make up all of existence are in a constant state of change, and that change can be violent. And as matter and energy transfers from one form to another in a perpetual ebb and flow of creation and destruction, certain organisms are met with the ultimate decision to kill or be killed. And organisms like Putin's will continue killing until they are killed. If we want to live in a future free of Vladimir Putin's for our borrowed atoms to avoid needless cruelty and suffering, we're going to need to take out those Putins, whose own atoms may not even agree with what he's doing. But now I'm just getting into spiritual horseshit, but hopefully this drawing more than makes up for it. If I got anything wrong in this video, please let me know in the comments below. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell for upcoming videos, and check out the links below for my original art, such as the one I created in this video, or printed merchandise and thanks for watching.